Hi, I'm Valerie Metcalf. After I got out of high school, I did not want to. I thought my only options were being a secretary or being a teacher. And I thought, well, I'll go into fine arts because I liked to draw. And the first or very few days after we were setting up our lockers, and the fellow with the locker next to me uh, was in fine arts as well. He was only there for a year, but he was already a potter. It was John Waddell, and he had a studio on Clifton Avenue. I didn't even know pottery or ceramics was offered at the university. Like the first year, it's just all general 3D and 2D design, or at least that's how it was structured then. And I thought I should try it because I wanted to be able to do something I could make a living at. So in second year, I started ceramics, and Robert Archambault was one of our professors, the main professor, and he sat down and did a throwing demonstration of a large plate, and I was completely hooked. I just had to do it then. It's like in those days, it was a real golden age for not just ceramic studios, but real, uh, like people were really trying to be artists. It couldn't help but be partly artisanal, but it seemed everybody's inspiration was to um, create things that were truly unique. And I'd say there was a lot of influence from the university in that area because Archambault and Irish and Charlie Scott were really accomplished artists, potters. And there was all this big debate, is it art or craft? And to me, that's completely irrelevant. Like every art is a craft too. So it was, um, it was exciting times. I moved to Toronto for a couple of years, and uh, I got a job at the Robarts Library to live, and I rented a studio space on Queen Street, and the Queen Street was all just warehouses then. So, and then one day John Waddell showed up in Toronto, and he had moved his studio again to the location where we are now. And he showed up in Toronto to tell me he was starting up a cooperative gallery and wanted me to come back and be part of it. Anyway, I came back here when I was 25 and worked in the back studio there. There's actually two businesses. There's the Stoneware Studio and the Stoneware Gallery. And we started up the gallery. So that started in 1976, I think. Everybody was extremely keen and enthusiastic, and we were all learning a lot, as well as just developing our skills and what direction our work was taking and learning how to market it. There was also the skill of functioning as a group in a way that was healthy and beneficial for everybody. Figuring out, it takes a long time to figure out and establish what is the most fair for everyone. And so as issues would arise, there'd be frictions that would then be worked out because we all really believed, we all knew it was the best for us to be able to do our work and have a place to sell it where you can show a decent amount of your work and get most of the money, and offer really varied um, really varied body of styles and work to the public, and the public has supported us very well right from the beginning. Well, the gallery and the studio, there's we have 12 memberships in the gallery, and 3 of them are shared, so there's 15 potters. And in the back, there's 5 owners, and 4 of those owners are gallery members as well, but one is retired from the gallery. And there's like so many people have been a member of that gallery at some point. Like it looks to be around more than 40, Anyway, it's yeah, like some people stay for a while and then leave, and then others, like me, I've been there since the beginning. But there's also members like Kathy Coop and Barbara Balfour and Steve Jorgensen that have been there a long, long time. And then the studio grew into more of a teaching studio, like whereas we all used to work back there. Now we all have our studios at home, and we take our work in to use the gas kiln. And we have 80 students now. And a lot of our students have been coming for over 15 years. And some of them that started out with us now rent our kiln to fire too. So yeah, it's a real community, is what I'm just trying to say. Teaching was very educational for me because, and I guess for everybody that teaches, because you really have to learn how to verbalize things that are just intuitive. It's very rewarding, like when they get over that first hump of trying to center, and then you can see the light go on, and they get fascinated, and some of them really develop. They just carry on and do amazing things. And throwing is an art, and it's very difficult to learn. It's like learning a musical instrument, so it's lots and lots of practice and hours. And I really prized craftsmanship and form, and I worked very hard at that. Well, things happen by accident, like with the way my plates developed. Was I had one crack, and at that time I was dating a stained glass artist, so we thought we'd put solder in it. And then I started deliberately manipulating the edges and getting a sort of free form flow, like the edges of water as it's disappearing in a wave. Because it's all motion, that you try and capture. It's like frozen music, pottery, ceramics. It's as you work is how you get ideas. So they just come to you. And when you have a dry spell, you just keep working. Like they say, it's 99% or perspiration and 1% inspiration. So when the inspiration happens, you grab it. If I'm developing something new, I often just comes like from an idea I get through working, and I may draw something, or sometimes I'll even dream something, or you just get this image in your imagination that you think, well, I should try that. And then the decorative part of the process usually grows through a fairly simple idea, like instead of painting, like carving the line and inlaying slip, and then that grows out from there. But I like to have a pattern and a movement within a piece that it may not be a repetitive pattern, but it unifies the piece, like on the surface. And in many ways, you still feel like you're starting, like there's always something new to try. The actual throwing part, thankfully, is no longer a challenge. Like in the beginning, like for years, like we would sit there with big piles of clay. Like our students get so frustrated, but if they saw us in the beginning, it's not easy for anybody. But like pottery is a very intimate art, and like when you have your favorite mug, I think once people take their first mug home and they start using it, then they realize how these pieces are kind of worm their way into your hearts and become part of your daily rituals and things. Like it's always been my goal to make things as beautiful as I can imagine, and hope that people respond to that, because it's part of the function, is to have something that just makes you feel good and makes, takes you out of yourself a little bit when you look at it. And, you know, I don't know how things happen, but it's not that there's any real security that you're going to get a paycheck the next month, but somehow it kept going. So, and so did we. I've got a dinner set order. So these are the dinner plates. They're going to be painted. They're going to look like, and this, oh wait, I'll just finish one thought at a time. Where is it? Ooh. These are just notes about orders I have. It got a bit dirty. Anyway, these will be painted and glazed like this.